Hello. I'm doing something that I feel like I shouldn't be doing, but I should be doing because this is part of maintenance on a motorcycle. And I am really nervous about taking things off the engine, but in the service manual, maintenance, it says every 2 years, engine tune-up. And it says valve clearance adjustment. And, hi, I'm not a mechanic Betty, and I have no idea how to do this. But I'm reading in the service manual, and it says to take off this. So that's what I'm doing. I really hope I don't break it. I do have my feeler gauge, and this is the setting that it's supposed to be, but it should be in between these. So I'll just check them all and see. I cleaned them with lacquer thinner first to make sure there's no grease or anything on them, and I unplugged the spark plugs here so it won't crank if I turn the camshaft, and I'm just gonna go for it. I really hope I don't break anything, but that's why I got this bike, is so I can learn about this stuff. And I really want to learn. I want to feel confident about this, and the only way to do it is to do it. And sitting there thinking about it or worrying about it, it's not going to help anybody. You know, thinking about it for a little while is a good idea. Doing some research, like reading that, which I've read 3 or 4 times all the way through, I feel I'm ready to do this. So hopefully they didn't leave out any step that something's gonna go wrong, but we'll see when it comes along. So let's check the clearance of these valves. First thing it says is disconnect this breather hose, which I just did, and then it says disconnect the breather cover on top of the engine, and that's what this little section is right here. So I'll remove these 10mm bolts and see what's under it. I better get some little cups to put these bolts in. It's held on by 4 bolts that are 10mm. I remember checking the valve clearance should be done when the engine is completely cold. It actually should not be cranked for like 12 hours to make sure everything is totally cold. So, and some engines require, sometimes this job requires that you remove the horn. So I'm gonna see if I could get it out. It's the GS 400 and the 425, which require it. Since this is the 450, it's in a little bit different position, so it might not be hindrance, but if it is, we'll figure it out. And now we'll remove the bolts securing the cam cover, and there should be 2 separate size bolts. So we should take note of where they are so we can put them back in the right place. So here's the 2 different sizes. The first 2 I pulled out, And so this one goes closest to the center. It goes closest to the center, and then this shorter one is on the outside. So the shorter one goes on the outside and the longer one goes on the inside. So we gotta keep that in mind. So it's, whoa. Instead of putting them, that mirror is right in my way. Instead of putting them in cups, I'm just going to lay them out on the floor exactly where they go so that I'll know how to put them back in. Because it's like there's six on each side, and so there's 2 in the center, then inside and outside. So I'll just lay them down exactly like how they came out. And yep, there's that horn getting in the way, so I will have to remove that bracket. I wonder what size that is. Well, it's not a 10 millimeter, so grab the right size sockets to remove that horn. So 12 millimeter is what fits the bracket that the horn is on. The green wire goes on top, the orange wire goes on the bottom. I'm gonna try not to remove them, but if I have to, just so I'll remember. Yeah. So we'll just put the horn bolt on the table there. It's just a short bolt. And okay, and it'll be easier if I just remove this and set it aside. So it bolted up there, just like this, and see the green wire is on the top and the orange one is on the bottom. To remove these chrome caps, you will need a screwdriver, a Phillips head that will fit up in here. So I'm using this bent one, and there is some little Phillips. You can't see them. I used a mirror to find them in there. So right there is the Phillips screw. Well, I just totally beat my story about the 7 millimeter wrench under the four-wheeler that was so difficult that I only could move a tiny bit at a time. This was on a whole new level of painful. These little chrome caps here, they are held in by these 2 little Phillips screws, and they are up in here like that. So you have to stick a screwdriver up in this little hole here and unscrew it. But the thing is that it is on top of these cooling fins where you have no room to stick a screwdriver up there. So I was trying to use this little tool, and you have to stick it in, turn it, take it out, find the screw again because you can't see it. You know, who knows where it is. So you stick it in there, hope you got it, turn it, hope you're not stripping it. So after a while I decided I got this little screw tip, and I found this 1/4 inch box and wrench, and this screw tip fits in there. So I was able to hold this up in there, so I only had to find the screw head once, and then I could turn it. And because it is upside down, it's not righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. You have to turn it clockwise to loosen it. So, I mean, you had no idea which way to turn it because you couldn't tell if it was loosening or not, because you couldn't tell if you were stripping the screw or, whew, it was a pain. But I got 2 off, I got 2 more to go, so let's go around to the other side and take those caps off. Keep on going. Sometimes, as you're working, your screw tip might get dropped up in there. So then you have to get some little something to try to get it out. So have a magnet or some kind of hook ready, because eventually you'll need it. And because those little caps took so long to get off, I ended up having to, it ended up getting dark and I couldn't do anything else. So it's the next day, and I am thinking before I complete I'd like to check the valve clearance just to see if it's in spec, but if it's not, then I'm gonna have to change the little shims. And if I do that, I really should have some shims available to put in, so I'm probably gonna order some online before I finish this job. So it might be a little while before I get to the next part of that, but at least now we know how to get those little caps off. As I tried everything first, I didn't know that they had screws, and so I was prying them and trying to twist them, and those little caps are not fun. I'll tell you that much. But I got a lot more to do on the bike, so I hope you'll join me and keep watching, and we'll see you again soon. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.